The Atlanta Dream just made the biggest move thus far in this free agency chaos that we get every single summer. They landed Angel Reese in a blockbuster move, and they sent away their 2027 and 2028 first round picks. But in my book, it's absolutely worth it. Listen, Angel Reese has continued to get better season after season. She came in the first round, picked 7th overall, but she has shattered that glass ceiling that we've set for her. She has totally exceeded expectation. What's unfortunate is everything she had to navigate in her first 2 seasons with the Chicago Sky. I don't even think you had to follow the WNBA closely to know that it was messy over there. I don't think that they were fully prepared for Angel Reese's celebrity or how demanding and invested her fan base would be. The franchise was already under a microscope because of several questionable decisions and moves that they've made in the past, and it only intensified once Angel arrived. That's what makes this move such a complete contrast. She's going from dark to light. The Dream have built a reputation as one of the most fun teams in the league. They genuinely look like a group of best friends, especially with the chemistry between the guards, Jordan Canada, Alicia Gray, Ron Howard, and their rook, Tahina Powpow, who's no longer a rook now. With Angel Reese in the mix, the real question becomes, what does that mean for the rest of this roster? As for the guards, I actually love most of this setup. Jordan Canada is still one of the truest point guards in the league, and I think she's getting better year by year. She still hasn't hit her prime, and she provides that true balance between the high volume scoring of Ryan Howard and Alicia Gray. Howard is a 3-level scorer, and Gray has established herself as one of the league's best sharpshooters. I like to think that Powpow is a balance between Jordan Canada and Alicia Gray. She can facilitate, but she can also get her shot off. She's just the ultimate player to have coming off of the bench. She had a very impactful rookie season, and I only see that getting better. Taylor Theory is interesting because she didn't get a lot of burn as a rookie, so it's hard to say what she's fully capable of. But now that the CBA allows 2 developmental spots on her team's roster, she feels like a player you absolutely hold on to. She was efficient at Ohio State, and with Carl Smesko wanting Atlanta to be a high-volume 3-point shooting team, I can absolutely see her developing into a key piece. I don't see the Dream holding on to Shatori Walker-Kimbrough. I felt like this season with Atlanta, she underwhelmed. So that brings me to the front court. What does this mean for Nia Coffey, Naz Hillman, Brianna Jones, and BG? I think Atlanta may end up moving on from Nia Coffey. She's a strong player, but she felt a bit inconsistent in this system. Naz Hillman, though, is somebody I really want to see share the floor with Angel Reese. They're around the same height, have similar motors, and both stay active on the glass. Everything coming off that backboard is going to be Atlanta's. On top of that, both players have started to establish more range, and Naz knocked down some huge threes for Atlanta during the 2025 season. I'm so geeked to see what Angel is going to be able to do in this Carl Smesko system. She's already a playmaker, and she's also started to spread the floor with knocking down some threes. Brianna Jones has started to expand her range, but I actually don't think she needs to lean into it as much. I love her banging inside and hitting the mid-range. Now, with Angel, the high-low possibilities could be special. And that would be a relationship that Angel hasn't had in the W yet, a consistent veteran big to play 1-2 with. In Chicago, she paired with her draft mate, Camila Cardoso, and they had flashes of greatness. And in theory, it could work. But the reality is that both of them were rookies trying to establish themselves while working through injuries and learning 2 different systems in 2 seasons. I believe that instability made it tough for the duo to fully click on the court together. Now, putting Angel into a situation that she's with a veteran big is going to be a completely different story. A more experienced post player with a high basketball IQ can help bring the best out of Angel and free up some space. So I really hope that the Dream hold on to Brianna Jones or get a player that's comparable. That said, I'm less certain about BG. I hate to say it, but Twin was a little inconsistent in 2025. And While being 6'9" is a luxury, it's great to have in a toolbox when you can pull it off of the bench. With the new CBA and everybody's contract getting a boost, I just don't know if it'll be cost effective to keep her based on the level of contribution she gave. If they move on from BG, that'll free up some valuable cap space. So for me, Nia Coffey, BG, Sika Kone, and Shatori Walker-Kimbrough are all question marks for me. That means Atlanta will have room to add a couple of forwards, another big, and possibly one more guard. I also want to talk about the top 5 draft picks because we got a lot to cover because there's 15 teams now. So we're going to break this down. I'm still sold on the fact that Dallas needs a big. I think they go Lauren Betts or Iowa Pham. While I do think Iowa has a very high ceiling, after watching UCLA in that national championship, Lauren Betts at 6'7" is just hard to say no to. That kind of size changes everything, and we've seen how valuable it can be. It's part of why Camila Cardoso went 3rd in 2024. At the same time in 2024, Los Angeles took Cameron Brink over Camila Cardoso, and she's 6'4", and I think that was because of her ability to stretch the floor. I don't know if Iowa Pham would give that type of flexibility, but I do think that her handle is a little bit better or stronger than Betts. But for the sake of this conversation, I'm going to say that Dallas goes with Lauren Betts. Moving to number 2, Minnesota also needs height and physicality. Minnesota is a small team. I think that's one of the main reasons that they struggled during the playoffs. They had issues with physicality, issues with size, and honestly, they just got bullied by Phoenix. Right now, the tallest players on their rosters are 6'4". The Lynx roster as it stands today is guard heavy. They have Dejanay Carrington, Natisha Heidemann, Courtney Williams, Kayla McBride, and Jalen Sherrod. Now they lost Bridget Carlton, so they're going to need a strong wing. This means they'll probably address the front court need in free agency, but based on how they drafted last year, I'm going to say Minnesota takes whatever big Dallas doesn't. So if Dallas takes Betts, Minnesota takes Iowa, and vice versa. Then we move down to Seattle at number 3. I don't know a lot about Sonia Ramon, but from what I've read, her approach emphasizes pace, spacing, and analytics. She seems to value creating gaps off of drives, forcing defensive rotation, strong ball movement, and empowering guards to make the right read. It doesn't sound like she wants a fixed offense. With that in mind, I think that they take Olivia Miles. Miles feels like exactly the type of player they want to run that type of offense. She's so creative. And then when you look at the analytics, out of AZ, Raven, and Olivia has the strongest stats. While I still think Raven Johnson has some elite intangibles and a very high ceiling because of how much we've seen her improve over the course of 5 seasons, Seattle feels like the spot where Olivia Miles' game will translate the best. Then we move to number 4, the Washington Mystics, and they just let go their general manager after 1 season. According to ESPN, it came down to strategic differences. Head coach Sidney Johnson will now help oversee basketball operations along with his coaching staff. This team is clearly looking to build around Shakira Austin, Sonia Citron, and Kiki Iriafen. That tells me that they'll likely be in the market for a guard, and I think they need facilitation first and foremost, but they still have Georgia Amar, who was out last season on an ACL injury. I haven't heard about the progress in her recovery, but I can tell that this franchise really wants to see what she's able to do. So they'll probably look to fill that gap in free agency, but I can see them also drafting for the future or for some relief players. So Raven Johnson could make sense, but if they are trusting Georgia Amar's return, they're probably going to want to go high volume 3-point shooting. So that brings me to AZ Fudd. She's going to help them create spacing, and I would honestly love to see her with Sonia, Kiki, and Shakira. That sounds like an exciting offense. This, unfortunately, leaves Raven headed to Chicago. And that's where I'm going to end it. I don't know what they need. They need a lot. But what are your thoughts, Hoops Tribe? What do you think about Angel Reese moving to the Atlanta Dream? And what are your thoughts about the first 5 draft